That.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. E3 is underway, and Microsoft had its time in the sun on Sunday, bringing to the stage probably their biggest catalog of games and info to date. But was it enough? Will longtime users be happy? Will PS4 users have a reason to expand the hardware sitting on their entertainment centers? Do we still even call them entertainment centers? Or will it be a massive flop requiring Microsoft to run back almost every announcement, like when the One was first unveiled? There's a lot to cover, and since there's never enough countdown lists on YouTube, in no particular order, here's my top takeaways from Microsoft's E3 reveals. Number 1, doubling down on 4K. It's not a surprise that Microsoft's newest Xbox, and we'll get to that in a little bit, is not just a 4K upgrade like the S was, it's aiming to render everything in native 4K at 60 frames per second. That's going to impact you in 3 ways. The first is going to be that any game you play on that system that you already own is going to look better. It's going to upscale, it's going to be improved slightly. The second tier to that is several of the major titles that are out now are going to get, in some cases free, they're going to get 4K upgrade patches converting the game to a native 4K experience for, again, a game you already own. It's already out. It might not be too exciting, but you're going to get a full 4K version of that game. The third, and obviously the most significant tier, is going forward. The game's coming out. They're going to be in actual 4K. Developers are going to have to rework their engines to produce a 4K quality environment and product in their games. And that's amazing. That's huge. So, beautiful stuff to come. Number 2, back to the past. Now, the Xbox One was not created to be backwards compatible. That was kind of an afterthought. But it's been a great afterthought because there's almost 400 games, I think, that are now backwards compatible from the 360. And Microsoft is going to take that a step further. One of the biggest announcements I thought coming from the stage was that a number of Xbox original titles will be coming to the Xbox One via backwards compatibility. There's not a list or necessarily a range of dates for that type of stuff yet, but it's coming. So expect the biggest titles, expect the most popular titles, but original Xbox games will be coming to the Xbox One via backwards compatibility. Number 3, Indie Strong. I'm not a big PC gamer, but I have to say that the Xbox Marketplace has made indie games very accessible to me and has made me pick up a lot of titles that I normally wouldn't just because I'm not paying attention to that environment in gaming. And I probably should, but I don't pay a whole lot of attention to that. Microsoft is looking to really even continue to expand on that. It's not just 4K for the AAA titles. They're really, really pushing indie games, indie creation, smaller games, and some of them are just such beautiful games. But even though it was just kind of a short trailer, kind of a sizzle reel, there was a ton of games that were introduced and shown off during the Microsoft time on stage. So if you're an indie game fan, if you're looking for something a little smaller that doesn't take 100 hours to complete or doesn't cost you $60, there's a lot coming your way end of this year, beginning of next year. Probably the biggest one coming your way is Ori 2. Now, I didn't play the first one. I've seen game art. I've seen videos on the game. I've seen trailers and some playthrough footage, and it's beautiful. The second one probably blows it out of the water. What they showed wasn't much, but it's just visually stunning. It's amazing how they can make a side-scrolling, smaller title that clearly doesn't have the money behind it the bigger ones do, how good they can make that look. So much. There's just so much there to look forward to. Number 4, send in the sequels. 3 of the biggest standouts, I think, as far as continuations or sequels go that were shown off, is Forza 7, Assassin's Creed Origins, and Crackdown 3. I won't dive too much into uninformed stabs at mechanics and story, but the taste offered for each was awesome. Forza 7 seems to be continuing its quest to be the genre's best driving sim, while Crackdown 3's ridiculous action and antics look to be taking full advantage of the new hardware. The big surprise to me, and I'm a huge fan of this franchise, was Assassin's Creed Origins. I was really disappointed in the last couple Assassin's Creed games, and they look like they're trying to make up for it a little bit with this one. The fighting looks to be more It's more informed by the player versus just hit the same button over and over, and the computer system handles the combos for you. I'm not going to say it's like Dark Souls or it's like For Honor. It's definitely not that involved from what they showed, but it looks to be a lot more in-depth and a much better player experience. Again, just based on a small amount of gameplay that was shown, but I like so far what I saw. Number 5, Metro Exodus. This could have easily been tucked in to send in the sequels, but Metro Exodus stood out in a way that made it feel more than just Metro 3, instead seeming to have, just a new and refreshing look, still maintaining the desperate survival-based gameplay, but it really benefits from the 4K rendering. Of course, what game wouldn't? But the atmosphere and the bleakness of the first 2 games are just blossoming into something new and something better. It's the real culmination of the work that was put into those first 2. It really looks like it's coming into the third one in a big way. Now, it was a pre-rendered taste, obviously select footage on a game that isn't due for a little bit, but boy, it looked good. Number 6, Anthem. I can honestly say I'm not sure I've ever been this excited for a game I know almost nothing about. BioWare looks to be entering into the open-world sci-fi genre, and boy, I am ready. Based on the early tease, Anthem is going to draw a ton of comparisons to Destiny, but I think that might be putting the cart before the horse just a little bit. That said, there aren't a ton of games in this unusually barren corner of the gaming world, and Destiny is clearly going to be its closest peer at least in the early stages. The gameplay and environments shown, just amazing. So, a loot-based shooter in a sci-fi setting not made by Bungie? Yes, please. 7, I have the power. If I had to pick a number 1, it kind of has to be the Xbox One X. Despite the ridiculous name, they should have just left it Scorpio or called it the Xbox One Elite, something that had a little bit more, description to what you're getting. The hardware and everything that's inside the plastic, pure powerhouse. But matching its stat performance capabilities is a robust $499 price tag. Now, if you compare that to building a gaming PC every couple of years, keeping in mind that you get a really, really tightly produced user interface, you get the benefits of console gaming without quite being on par with top-tier PC gaming, the amount's not ridiculous. Not a number to sneeze at either. The specs offer console gamers their first ever real footing in a PC gamer world. Again, I'm not going to say that it's going to replace PC gaming or that it's going to even pull close necessarily, but it's the closest console gamers have ever gotten. And if you end up being so inclined to plunk down your $500 to jump up to 4K, the release date is November 7th. So that's what I got on Microsoft's opening ceremonies. There's so much to talk about, so many conversations to be had, but I just kind of wanted to touch on a few of the hot items that really stood out to me. I'll put a link in the description if you want to see the entire hour and 45 minutes, but if you've already seen it, make sure to drop a comment. Let me know what you like. Let me know what you want to see. I'm curious what everyone else got excited about when they watched it. And you know the drill. Subscribe, like, and comment. Check out our contest in the description. And join the family of casual average gamers. We'd love to have you. So until the next one, smooches.